was lovely. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend here in Brookfield, Wisconsin. The best place to be on a Sunday morning, in person or online. We are here together in fellowship and community in this place and in gratitude for the privilege of living and gathering here in the traditional territory of past and present Native peoples of the Menominee, Ojibwa, Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, Kickapoo, Peoria, and Miami nations. To do our work of living fully into our UU values, we are conscious of the history of their erasure and beholden to do the work of reconciliation and reparation in every way that we can. We are committed to being a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and queer plus people, and we know we have much work to do to live into that promise to you, and to continue to call out and address with each other and in the larger world the homophobia, violence, and injustice that continues to harm you and all of us who love you and are not separate from you. And as an anti-racist faith community, we acknowledge the racism throughout society that leads to the violent deaths and oppression of Jews, Black and Indigenous people, and other people of color. May we commit again and again to do the hard work of dismantling white supremacy culture in our hearts, in our relationships, in our communities, and in our world. Our community of UUCW expands beyond these walls to those of you who are joining us virtually. Hello, I know you're out there. In fact, wherever you are, whatever your age, your color and gender, your pronouns, the abilities and disabilities you hold, however you define family, whomever you love, whatever your sacraments and chosen beliefs, you are welcome here. We unite in UU principles, called to work for justice in covenant and in the spirit of love. So I'm Lynn Capitan. My pronouns are she and her, and I joyfully serve on your board of trustees. Although I have to say that this next week is my last week as your board member. Oh. But you know, I had an opportunity this morning as I was putting these words together, thinking back. I've been on the board for 2 years now, and I think back really with a sense of wonder that I hope I share with all of you, that what we have done, what we've been able to accomplish as a congregation, rising to the challenges of coming out of the pandemic as a stronger community. And that's something that I'm aware of that not all churches and congregations have been able to do, but we've been able to do that through the strength of the whole community that we have here. Finding our way forward with the help and the incredible skills of Rev. Julin, our interminister, discerning who we are and how things have changed in the past many years to arrive at where we are now, and where we may be headed as we now create a place for our new settled minister and the next chapter in our congregation's life. So, I'm leaving your board, but it's been a journey I will continue with all of you today and through the next many years. Today's theme of pluralism, of how each of us contributes in each our own way to the beauty of the whole, is a message that I am taking to heart with me with much gratitude as I complete my service on the board. Now, that's the end of my soapbox. To help everybody feel a bit more oriented, let me share a few housekeeping things with you. If you're new to UUCW, a warm welcome to you. You are invited to fill out the yellow side of the form that you received when you came in, and to visit the newcomers table in the community room after the service, where you can ask questions and pick up information. And if you're online and you want to connect, please email us at visitor@uucw.org. We are a multi-generational community. We have many ways for all ages to participate. Note that today there is no nursery or RE classes because of the holiday weekend. But if you're visiting and you want information about our nursery and RE programs, please contact one of the greeters because they have information for you. And know that that all ages always are welcome in the sanctuary. And for those of us who need to keep our hands busy in order to pay more attention or remain attentive, we do have, what do we call it, a worship exploration table for some quiet, self-guided activities. And today we have Miss Janelle and Miss Kat, RE teachers, are here to help supervise. So feel free to join them at any time. And as another option, in the community room, we have a live stream of the service, and the nursery itself, in the lower level, is open and available to any adults who may need to bring a little one downstairs for a while. That's fine. It's open for you. This also means that when we get to that place in the order of service where it says we're going to sing the children back to their classes, we're not going to do that today, okay? Okay, and finally, let me also call attention to the announcements page in your order of service, which I hope you'll take home and refer to throughout the week, because there's a ton of things coming up in the next several weeks. So I'm only going to be able to highlight a few. Announcement number two, next Sunday, it happens to be our flower communion. Love that. It's a wonderful part of our tradition. So come with a flower or a blossom or a stem or even a frond, if you're so inclined, and then plan to stay for our annual meeting that follows after the service. This only happens once a year, so it's really important. To find out what happened over the church year, check out announcement number 3 and get your copy of the annual report. All the information you need for the meeting can be found in our e-news. Childcare will be provided for the meeting. And as well, you'll have an opportunity to get your car washed during the meeting. See announcement number 11. Number 7, calling all LGBTQIA2+ members and allies. UUCW has reserved a spot in the June 9th Pride Parade, and we need your ideas. We have a UUCW Pride banner, and we need your input on how you'd like to help make our presence unforgettable. Text Marjorie May at the number listed in the announcements. Number 10, if you're grieving a loss and would be comforted by spending some time with others who are going on a similar journey, you're invited to attend the lay pastoral care team, attend with them a soul lunch this coming Saturday, June 1st at 11:30 here at UCW. RSVPs are always appreciated. Use the form in the e-news or let Reverend Newland know. Okay, with all of that now shared and received, thank you for your patience. Let's settle in now and enjoy this time that we've set aside just to be here together. Center yourself, and we welcome the Spirit.
As Lynn already shared, our theme for the month of May is pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and we embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Our opening words are those of Meg Barnhouse, "The Beauty of the Whole." We gather to worship, our hearts alive with hope, that here we will truly be seen, that here we will be welcomed into the garden of this community where the simple and the elegant, the fluted and the filled, the shy and the dramatic complement one another and are treasured. May we know that here, each contributes in their way to the beauty of the whole. Welcome to this time of worship, this garden of community, where all are welcome, where together we can create beauty. So let's begin by lighting our chalice.
When Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice, a flame in an open cup. Some say that the cup symbolizes an open space where community can gather, a welcoming container for diverse beliefs and perspectives. If you're joining us online, you may contribute to our communal fire by creating a light there in whatever way you're able. Our chalice lighting words today were written by Julian Lepp, I invite you to read them with me. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths. With these words celebrating the existence of multiple ways of being, we light our chalice.
So let's sing. Oops. De Coloris is a celebration of all the diversity of life. It's number 305 in the hymnal, so please rise in body and or spirit to sing, and get prepared for singing Spanish on the last verse. So it's story time. So for those who would like, please come on over to the cushions on the floor so you can see and hear better. I'm going to help Scott read the story today. He's going to try to keep track of the way too many colors in this book for one person. And as for me, I'm going to speak for the color gray. The story is called This Book is Gray. It was written and illustrated by Lindsay Ward, and we're reading it with the permission of Two Lions Press.
And if you look at us, I think I should be gray and she should be the colors.
But it is what it is. They never let me color. Just one tiny bit of gray? Is that too much to ask? Well, I am going to make the greatest book ever. Once upon a time, a wolf, a kitten, and a hippo lived in a small house by the sea. Now, some would describe this house as dismal, bleak, or gloomy, but it wasn't. It was lovely and gray and perfect.
Hey, Gray. What you doing?
I'm telling a story.
This looks dismal and bleak and gloomy. Yeah, this is kind of depressing.
It's just a little overcast. Perfect weather, if you ask me.
Dude, where's all the color?
Well, this book is gray, and gray is a color.
But you can't illustrate a good story without the primary colors. Yeah, there are like 3 of us. They're really important. Everyone loves us.
The wolf, the kitten, and the hippo.
Is the wolf going to eat the kitten? Because I feel like that's where this is going.
Sigh. Of course not. Just because this book is gray doesn't mean it's scary or sad.
So, like, what are these animals? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did that.
Am I on the wrong slide?
I don't know.
Okay. How about that? Is that the right one?
I think we did that. There.
There, it's on this side of it. Okay.
So, like, what are these animals going to eat if they don't have a proper sun? It certainly won't be organic. I'm guessing the kitten.
Do you mind? I'm trying to tell my story here.
Hey, what's everybody arguing about? Hey, secondaries, we're discussing Gray's monochromatic disaster. It's about like a totally cute kitten who gets eaten by a wolf. Okay, but what's with the hippo? Yeah, dude, we're not sure how he even fits in. Ooh, a kitten!
Is anyone listening to me? I said no primaries, no secondaries. This book is gray.
What muted his hue?
One day the wolf decided to host a brunch.
Dude, a brunch? Really? That's so last year. I knew that kitten was a goner. Yup, totally saw that coming.
Oh, for Pete's sake, the kitten is not going to get eaten.
Who's Pete? I think Pete's the hippo. Personally, I think the book could really use a splash of orange. Orange is a totally rad color. Thanks, Blue. So are you.
I know you can't help it, but please stop complimenting each other. It's distracting, and I'm about to get to the... There.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Gray decided to make his own book out of the blue. Thank you. Yeah, and we're totally blacklisted. No primaries, no secondaries, no color at all.
Just because I'm not a primary or a secondary doesn't mean I'm not a color. Achromatics have feelings too, you know.
Well, White and I are achromatic just like you, so Can we be in your book?
Sorry, guys. This book is gray, but maybe white. What are you doing? The wolf was just about to pull the scones out of the oven when...
White out!
Oh, no, no, no. This book is gray like me. Why is it so hard to understand? You guys got to be in everything. I'm left out all the time. I don't even get to be in the rainbow. I just wanted to show you what I can do. Gray is a cool color too, you know? I just get so tired of being the only one no one wants to color with. Everybody thinks I'm dull. But I can be bold. I can be interesting too.
Sorry, Gray. I got a little carried away there. Yeah, man, we're sorry. Sometimes we can be a little off color.
Well, how am I going to get rid of all this snow? This book is supposed to be gray, but now it is ruined.
No worries, Gray. We can totally help you fix this. That is, if you want us to.
Well, even though the wolf's scones got burned due to an unexpected weather delay, all the guests had a lovely time together in the garden. It was a great party.
Ta-da! Isn't it like totally awesome? And look, we got brown and pink to help us. Dude, gray is such a cool color. I don't know how we never noticed before. Look at all these gray animals. Wow. The book is gray and colorful. I love it. So, what do you want to do now? Color? Totally.
Me too.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Wolf says, hello, Gray? You forgot to end the story. I'm getting hungry, says the hippo. Me too, says the wolf. Oops, skip that page. Sorry, guys, I was coloring with my friends. I'm almost done now. Turns out the kitten could whip up a mean brunch. Oh, and they lived grayly ever after. The end. Wow, yay! So thanks for coming over to listen, and now if you'd like, you can stay there, you can go back to there, you can go be wherever you want in the room. We're all here together having fun. You can stay here. Yeah, you can. Oh, thank you.
This is Memorial Day weekend. And as we shift our energy from story and song to a time of reflection and quiet, I'd like to share these words of Reverend Nicole Mackay, who serves as a UU chaplain with the Canadian Armed Services. We gather to remember. We gather to remember those who could not grow old, and those forced to grow old long before their time. We gather to mourn and grieve with one another all of our losses, the people, the stories, the loved ones, and the futures that could have been. We gather to do the hard work of facing the difficult realities of our present and our past, where there is conflict, violence, war, and hatred. We gather to hold space for silence as we try to make meaning of our history to help us work for peace and justice today. We gather to rekindle our source of hope for our future by recognizing in one another our shared humanity as we join in a concerted commitment for a better tomorrow. We gather because we need community to do all of this holy work.
We gather to remember, to mourn, to honor. We gather to honor those who have served. We gather to pray for peace. Unitarian Universalists pray in diverse and meaningful ways. Some UU churches use traditional prayer forms, while others use poetic forms that can be inclusive of many theological perspectives. And whether we're sitting in Zen Buddhist meditation, listening for truth with the Christian Lectio Divina, praying to the Spirit of life, or chanting in a circle at winter solstice, our spirituality is unbounded. There's a joke out there about UU prayer that suggests that since we don't know who or what we pray to whom it may concern. But I tend to think that we have so many ways to connect with the sacred that it's difficult to find specific words. This video, this meditation, using the poetry of the late Nancy Schaefer, speaks to the multitude of ways that we have of kneeling to kiss the ground.
That Which Holds All by Nancy Schaefer. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said, Holy One, Mystery, God. But then, thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot fully be addressed, she added particularities, saying, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Ancient Holy One, mystery we will not ever fully know, gracious God, and also Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, Thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, closest hope, even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant. But then she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by anyone or thing, but just luckily happened. One who is an entire ocean of compassion, she said, and no one laughed. That which has been present since before the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she hadn't imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, said one. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath, said one near the back. Refuge, that which holds all. A child said, water. Someone said, Kuan Yin. Then womb, witness, great kindness, great eagle, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she thought would be important to say, and everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen.
In a moment, you'll be invited to come to this mic to make connections by sharing what's exciting or joyful or painful or worrisome in your life. Just a reminder that what you share aloud today will only be heard by those who are gathered in this moment. It won't be included in the posted video of the service. And I'd also remind you to share only your story unless someone has asked you to share something for them. You can always choose to share something in writing via that yellow slip on the other side, or the QR code that's in the order of service, or the link in the e-news. And those sharings will be only shared with those that you indicate. So with our lay pastoral care team, or just with me, or spoken next Sunday, or in our e-news. So now if you'd like to come here to speak, you might come to either side and then take turns. If you wish to remain seated, an usher will bring you a microphone. Just raise your hand. And after each sharing, I'll light a candle and invite everyone to respond with me. We hold you in love. So come. I'm going to light a candle, of course, for Memorial Day, for all that it signifies. Of course, our armed services here and around the world and in every country, but also it's a time of remembering. So this is a candle for all those who are holding the loss of someone close, remembering their lives. For Memorial Day. May 29th, which comes in just a few days, is the International Day for UN Peacekeepers. There are 11 peacekeeping operations deployed from the U.S. across Africa, the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. And they're so very important right now. And this is a candle for them. I think we maybe don't mention often enough, things kind of become old news. But it's not old news for the people living in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Israel, in Haiti, and so many places around the world where people are in danger and living with their basic human needs unmet. May they have safety, shelter, the food they need, and some beauty in their lives. Oops, it's all taped shut. There's a message here from Jeannie Jarecki. Sharing the joy that her grandson Wesley is 4 months old and wishing the best of luck to the babies as they move to their new venture. And oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this. I'll tear it. Multiple layers of tape. Packaging. It's one of our main, it's such a first world problem, but my goodness. Anyway, I'm lighting a virtual candle for Jeannie. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to hold up this candle for all of you online, for you to know that we hold you in love. You're part of this community. We're very aware of you. We have our arms around you all the time. This is for you. And it's also for all the unspoken joys and sorrows, feelings, worries, anxieties, all the things that you are all walking with. It's for you. We hold you in love. So I invite you to sing number 398, To See the World. Jenny's going to play it through once, as the tune might not be familiar, and then please rise in body and our spirit. This is a beautiful reflection encouraging us to see the whole, the beautiful whole. We'll sing it through twice.
see the world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. Be seated.
Today's reading speaks to some of the ways that we tend to divide ourselves into us and them categories. The author, Zach Norris, is the co-founder of Restore Oakland and Justice for Families, both of which focus on the power of community action. These words come from his book, Defund Fear. Safety without policing, prisons, and punishment, published by Beacon Press. If there's no such thing as a bad guy out there somewhere, then it's clear why our fear-based system of dehumanization is failing to keep us safe. We can't get to lasting safety by insulating ourselves from mythical external threats which border walls. We can't get to real safety by expelling or confining certain kinds of people like the mythical superpredator. The paradox of proximity means that the real threats are not coming from a few bad apples, that they come simultaneously from powerful, massive institutions that we all have a hand in upholding, and they come from within our own communities and families. We can't run from ourselves. The answer to safety is always closer rather than farther away. Only together we can create safety. In order to truly be safe, we are going to have to transcend the mythical divisions of us versus them. We will have to bridge the divides and build relationships. There is no them, there's only we. And that we, the fabric of American society, is always evolving and expanding. Rather than holding on to a fixed notion of who we, the people, are, we have to embrace what John Powell calls a bigger we.
Thanks, Merritt. There is only one most basic of concepts, that we're interconnected, that we need all of us. We are a plurality of existence, struggling with the concept of unity, a plurality sometimes in fear of itself. You've heard already that our theme for the month of May has been the gift of pluralism, as has been true throughout this year. Our monthly themes have been explorations of the new values statement proposal, commonly referred to as Article 2, which is to become our central statement of faith as Unitarian Universalists. And about pluralism as a value, this statement says, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and we embrace our differences and our commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Now, let me start today with a brief reflection on two recent and seemingly disparate inputs into my consciousness. The first is a reading that I coincidentally heard at two different UU congregations within a week's time. I've shared it to open a few meetings recently, so some of you have heard it. It's from David Bumbaugh, and he speaks of how the wooden back scratcher is responsible for our human fall from grace. About how that simple rudimentary instrument has made it possible for us to think of ourselves as self-sufficient, with no need for someone else to reach that spot we cannot. And Bumbaugh concludes by bemoaning that the wooden back scratcher is no substitute for the touch of a living hand. The second input, will do any of the rest of you listen to the podcast Radio Lab? Oh, a few of you are good. I see some hands. It's a great one. This week's episode was about the invention of the Walkman, remember those, with cassette tapes, and individual earbuds, which apparently have led us to listening only to that which we choose to listen to. And the gradual elimination, therefore, of a public discourse, a common narrative, or a conversation that everyone participates in, which in turn has led to these kind of silos of perspective from which we can easily choose not to interact with or listen to difference or anything that might be uncomfortable or challenging. You know, we choose public radio or we choose Fox News, and ne'er the twain shall meet. So earbuds just might be the cause of all the extreme polarities in our world, and another example of our human fall from grace. I would say that as concepts, I think most of us probably like having wooden back scratchers handy for those moments when no one else is around to help, and that we like being able to choose what we listen to. I mean, I sure do. Which says that to really do pluralism, we need to be willing to move out beyond that known and that comfortable and beyond our independent, self-sufficient mindset. And what in the world would it be that could encourage us to actually do that? You know, we all know the incredible power of habit and inertia. We've learned our ways of being by digesting particular stories, news headlines, movies, educational material that's all been curated to please or entertain us. In other words, we've fallen into the habit of listening to a single story. So what would make us intentionally embrace a different and more inclusive way of being? Well, isn't that what values are all about? It's our values, whether they're taught or embraced or learned or practiced or chosen. It's our values that drive and inspire our actions and our ways of being. They're our North Stars. And we determine which values to hold. And in this case, holding a value of pluralism and paying attention how to live pluralism could be key to fully embracing diversity. But what does that really mean, to hold pluralism as a central value to our living? Now, can I just say what a privilege it is to make a living by learning? Every week, the need to find something to say to you means that I have got to engage in some kind of learning, reading, listening, thinking. It's such a gift. And this week really is no different. I think I finally have come to understand pluralism, at least better than I did. And I've gained a much better understanding of and appreciation for why the Article 2 Commission included pluralism as a central value for Unitarian Universalism and its future. You know, lots of people, including me until recently, don't really know what pluralism means, or we have a very limited definition of it. Even in our last information here about the upcoming vote on Article 2, a sense of disconnect was expressed. What's pluralism? You know, we lack a strong association with the word and with pluralism as a value, which really is just indicative of a need to learn more. And I'm coming to see the goal of pluralism as this kind of growing edge that is calling us toward greater understanding and more interdependent, respectful coexistence with difference. So here's some of what I learned. Pluralism and diversity are not synonymous. They're similar, and they're often used interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Diversity is the presence of difference. It's a fact of modern life. And attending to diversity and inclusion can make us, well, some of us anyway, feel like good people, but without necessarily asking anything of us. Pluralism is both the desire and the ability, which is really an achievement, to engage with differences in order to create a common society. Now that's a qualitative difference, right? I mean, we can value the presence of diversity without ever having to do the work of pluralism. Pluralism is what creates a common society out of diversity, a civic we that fully includes differing cultures, beliefs, and commitments. And that requires us to do something more than just embrace diversity. Now, you're likely familiar with the US motto, E Pluribus Unum, out of many, one. Out of 13 colonies, one nation. And American culture has perhaps erroneously used this motto to suggest that everyone should become the same. We should assimilate. We should become a melting pot. We should grind off all the edges of difference so that there's no conflict or disagreement. We should take the many and turn them into one thing. It has taught us that difference means conflict, and that sameness is a key to a peaceful society. It's also tried to teach us that we're stronger and more resilient as a society if we hold values and beliefs in common. However, true resilience, as argued by Soraya Chemaly in her book, The Resilience Myth, is not about individuals going it alone, using their figurative wooden back scratchers. True resilience and strength, says Chemaly, is about collectivity and vulnerability. In an interview with Courtney Martin, she said, we didn't evolve to survive in this environment as atomistic, separately self-sufficient beings. We are alive today because as species, we leverage our collective cognition, interdependence, mutual care, and integration, not separation from our environments. So I think we need to come to understand that old motto differently. That is to think of oneness not as similarity, but rather as sharing a common commitment to coexisting in peace and understanding in the company of our differences. To say, E pluribus unum, because of our diversity, we are interconnected. Because of our diversity, we are that bigger we, allowing our differences to expose our vulnerabilities, and in so doing, to craft a sense of collectivity that includes all. E pluribus unum. I think we could call that collectivity pluralism. Now, last week, and in the description of today's service, I promised that this week I would speak about the literal gifts of pluralism. There are many, too many to go into much depth on any one of them. So at the risk of just reading off a list, here goes. Well, pluralism allows for collaboration and partnerships. You know, our social infrastructure is only strengthened by dialogue and sharing common causes across difference in a dynamic of meeting, exchange, two-way traffic. We can do more together if we're practicing pluralism. Pluralism asks us to be open to learning, to admit to not knowing it all, to not always being right, maybe not very often being right. The more we learn, the greater understanding of others will be. And with greater understanding, our fear of diversity, or that other, will be overcome or at least greatly reduced. And wouldn't it be something if we could stop being afraid of each other and of potential conflict? I Sure, pluralism requires compromise, but it also increases trust, creates a more fair distribution of resources, and it leads to intentional collaboration, again, across difference. And as a mechanism that helps us to peacefully coexist across those different backgrounds, views, and beliefs, pluralism actually provides the space, that value of pluralism, that sense of being together in it with each other, provides us the space to express and practice what's true for us. There's freedom of expression in pluralism, and while this freedom of expression comes with a few caveats, that no beliefs should be imposed on others, that no practices should violate basic rights, that no belief is exempt from respectful civil criticism, pluralism provides the foundation for that freedom of expression. And freedom of expression, of course, is dependent on everyone having true freedom of choice to choose what we believe. In pluralistic interactions, we're challenged to explore our own beliefs and ideas. And when we're exposed to the ideas and beliefs of others, we naturally, of course, compare and contrast, which might bring us to doubt ourselves, which is not necessarily a bad thing, which might also ask us to truly decide what it is that is the core that motivates our lives. It makes space for a chosen faith, such as Unitarian Universalism, one that encourages us to examine our lives and make personal decisions about what matters to us. So embracing a value of pluralism encourages us to bring that diversity that comes with that freedom of choice to every table. At the same time, it makes it possible for each person at that table to freely claim and express their beliefs. And there at that welcome table, a diversity of voices and experience can help us to change societal norms. In dialogue amid differences, cultural narratives, norms and attitudes will inevitably be changed, which will contribute to the undoing, I hope, I pray, of white supremacy practices and institutions. Pluralism does not ask us to leave our distinctiveness at the door. It invites our differences in. And again, in such an environment of welcome, we're all called to acknowledge and not hide our deepest differences, to expose that vulnerability of being different, because that can allow for relationships of debate and discussion, which then contributes to that creation of a civil, common society sitting at a common table. Now, as you know, these days there is a lot of hand-wringing, legitimate hand-wringing about the future of democracy. It seems to me that our beloved democratic principles, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, civic engagement, even effective local government, are pretty meaningless without the presence of pluralism. Democracy depends on our ability to make free choices, and making free choices is dependent on secure human rights for all, including that space and opportunity to express one's individual beliefs and practices. In other words, a truly democratic society depends on the existence of, or at the very least, a sincere desire to create pluralism. Now, I know it can seem that we are a long way from actualizing pluralism. And I take heart from something shared by Shamali in that interview I spoke of earlier. She speaks of hope in the future because of what today's young people experience, some of them anyway. They've grown up as digital natives in a densely networked and accelerated socio-technical world, she says. They've experienced a fire hose of things that differ from earlier generations: mass gun violence, climate disasters, the rise of anti-democratic forces, Me Too, Black Lives Matter movements. Because of all this, how they learn and know is different. They have to consider context, complexity, and connections across time and over space, which makes them more hyperlinked, more fluid, more pluriversal. Pluriversal. I had to look that one up. It means drawing from other worldviews, mainly indigenous relational worldviews. Existing in a pluriverse implies the existence of many worlds that are somehow interconnected, and claims that the human world is connected to the natural world and also to the spiritual world. It's a beautiful word, pluriversal, one that I think describes the best of Unitarian Universalism. And so I think all of us would do well to become more pluriversal, to ask others to help us when we have an itch, to listen to someone else's music, to be willing to let go of having it only our way, to take out our earbuds and to listen to the larger, often cacophonous story as told by that big, beautiful, diverse pluriverse. Long, long ago, about the time of the founding of our democracy, James Madison wrote that the only way we could avoid differences and factions would be to take away the liberties of a free society, or alternatively, to ensure that everyone thinks and believes the same. Well, those are the key characteristics of fascism: to take away freedoms, to ensure there's only one way to think. And we just can't go there. The more heterogeneous, the more diverse, the more pluralistic we become, the better will be our resilience, our strength, and indeed, our democracy. In 2019, the spiritual leader of the Shia Muslims, Aga Khan, said this: "What a wonderful thing it would be if more of us, more of the time, could see diversity not as a burden, but as a blessing, not as a threat, but as an opportunity." And that's a vision of a pluralistic world, a world where all belong. May it be so. Amen.
One way that UUCW helps address human needs and advance social justice in our community is through our Split the Plate program. Each month, we give half of all undesignated offerings to a local nonprofit to help us live our Unitarian Universalist values and serve our community. Our Split the Plate partner for May is STRYV365. By age 18, practically every child has faced trauma, which can occur verbally, emotionally, sexually, or physically in various settings. STRYV365 aims to foster resilience in youth through trauma-informed educational and athletic programs. They train local coaches to understand stress's impact on mental health and teach strategies to build resilience. With mentors and staff versed in social emotional learning, STRYV 365 equips students with essential life skills. Support STRYV 365 to help build a resilient future for our youth. You can support STRYV 365 now, or you can go to UUCW's website Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu, or text or mail your donation today using the information found here. Today, I thank you for your generosity to STRYV 365. We will now gratefully receive your offering.
Please join me in the words of dedication found in your order of service and on the screen. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy and to act for inclusion and justice, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. And before we depart, let's please sing again. You'll find When All the Peoples on This Earth at number 147 in the hymnal. Note that this is a song that references, it's labeled as a Kwanzaa song, which happens at a different time of the year, but which really values and promotes unity and pluralism. So you're invited to stand as you're willing and or able, number 147.
When every sin
Please remain standing for our benediction. This wonderful time together, listening, learning, sharing, singing, has come to an end. And as you heard, sadly, this is the last Sunday that Rick and Pam are with us before moving to Florida. And we'll take a moment to raise a glass or a cup to them during our social time. So now, take a moment to breathe in the love, the support, the togetherness you find here. And also breathe out the love and the support that you offer to others. And offer gratitude for the gift of pluralism. If you're willing, if you'd like, please join hands. Closing words were written by Jean M. Ricard. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Amen. And I invite you to return to your seats to enjoy Jenny's postlude with gratitude for her presence with us today.